I don't hate any electronic music gear.
Freebie.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Freebeat, where I post new music-related content every single day, so if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Today's patron shout-out goes to Aaron Sheeman. Thank you so very much for the support. Let's get started. So this is not really a video I thought I would be making. However, I've noticed an influx of comments on the channel, particularly referring to my opinions on two different pieces of gear, mainly the Novation Circuit Tracks and the Akai Mpc One. These comments have basically referred to a false fact that I hate those two pieces of gear. And well, I just kind of wanted to come in here and say that that is simply not true. Let's talk about the Circuit Tracks first. If you don't know, last summer I purchased a Novation Circuit Tracks and I returned it just a few weeks later. Now, I do have an entire video on why I returned it, but I want to speak more on the fact that at the end of that video, I said I totally understand why the Circuit Tracks is a fantastic device and so many people love it. However, it's simply not for me. I still think this is a great device, and for $400, you could do a lot worse with music gear. So kudos to Novation. It is an excellent device. It's just not for me, but I highly suggest checking it out. That's what I want to focus on, that sentiment right there, because it also applies to this, the Akai Mpc One. To a lesser extent, I still do really like the Mpc One, but we'll get into that later. The Circuit Tracks was simply not a good fit for me personally. That doesn't mean I think it's not a good fit for anyone else. And for goodness sake, it doesn't mean I'm not going to listen to music that someone else made just because they made it on the Circuit Tracks. Not anything close to that at all. I just didn't enjoy personally working with it. Does that make sense? It didn't click for me. It wasn't working with how I wanted to work on my personal electronic music, but I still really enjoy songs that other people have made using the Circuit Tracks. I promise, I don't hate it. Let's talk about the Mpc One now, because this was actually my Gear of the Year winner for last year due to the massive firmware update, the 2.10 firmware update that Akai released last year. When I first picked up my Mpc One, I loved it. It was the first time I really ever had access to the ability to make full songs with really no track limits and no polyphony limits, things like that. DAWless ever. Before that, I only had two groove boxes really, the OPZ and the Electron Model Cycles. And while I did really enjoy both of those, I did start to feel the limitations as I was using those so often. So the MPC really opened up my eyes to having a lot more space to work within, and I quite enjoyed it. Then, of course, the firmware update came out, added all the vocal effects, as well as the ability to work with a USB audio interface, the new synths. The Hype Synth, in particular, is one of my favorite synths, at all, just that I own. I use it all the time, and yeah, like I said, it won my Gear of the Year 2021 award. Recently, though, I have made a few videos talking about how I personally, again, that's a big theme here, me, personally, I'm starting to fall out of love with the Mpc One due to the workflow and how I'm discovering that I like to work on electronic music. Just like everybody out there, I am still learning as I go. Not just how to make the music, but I'm learning more about myself, what I like and what I dislike, and yeah, that'll probably change over time. When I dropped my Gear of the Year 2021 video, I said that the Mpc One was a colossally good deal. Back then, I believe it was $800 US. The price has gone up again to $900 US, and I still feel that way. For $900 US, it's really hard to find a device that can do more in one box. This thing is feature-packed, and it is very powerful. It is quite capable in anyone's hands, and it is a great device. I simply, again, am starting to feel that for me, personally, the workflow isn't really clicking anymore, especially as I've gotten the opportunity to try other higher-end Groovebox workflows like the OP1 here, and specifically the Synthstrom Deluge, which has become my absolute favorite workflow of any device that I own. I've just started to realize that perhaps the MPC workflow isn't for me. It's not my favorite, and I don't really enjoy it. That's not a slam against anyone who does. How many times in my MPC One videos lately have I started by saying, or ended by saying, I recognize the legacy of this device in electronic music and the Akai brand in electronic music. I have the utmost respect for Akai and the MPC name, and again, what those two have done for electronic music as a whole. Just because I don't feel that the workflow is right for me doesn't mean that I don't think the workflow is right for anyone else. No, I've seen so many people kill it on the MPC One, and that is awesome. You do you. You keep working with what you like to work with. That's why I work with the Deluge so much, especially off camera, because I just love it. I love working with it. And that's totally okay if you feel like that about the MPC One or the Novation Circuit tracks or whatever the hell else you want to use to make your music. Remember how I kept emphasizing the word me personally? Well, you personally is just as important, and what you like and dislike is just as important as what I like and dislike, and those things can be different as long as we respect each other's opinions. And that, in the end, is what it's really all about. So yeah, I really wasn't planning on making this video, but I have started to notice more and more of these comments in the past few weeks here, as the channel has really started to grow. And I figured I'd just kind of nip it in the bud and make this video so I can always point you to it. If someone says I hate a piece of gear, because again, I do not hate any electronic music gear. However, if we all liked the same music, the same gear, if all of our just overall likes and dislikes lined up with each other, think about how boring the world would really be. The key, of course, is that we respect everyone else's unique individual opinion and value it just like we expect them to value our own. I do hope you found this video informative, or at least didn't mind hearing me talk your ear off for a few minutes. If you did like it, be sure to leave a thumbs up on it. If not, you can always leave a thumbs down. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you all so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. It means the world to me. We'll see you next time. Bye.